Hello, it's not the morning time, it's actually 4:30. I'm obviously at school and it's Tuesday. So today was a crazy day. I had my observation today. I don't think it went very well, to be honest. It's a rainy day, and so I just think the kids had way too much energy, which obviously, like, they understand that, like, observing me, but it was a mess. So that happened. And then, oh, we had, like, half day out. So we were half day out in training, and we have a sub who, like, comes and takes over. But yeah, so that was pretty much my day. I wanted to do like a vlog, but I also wanted to kind of have like a focus to it because I didn't really have anything going on this week in terms of like things to share. I just haven't. Yesterday was just a normal day, so I really haven't had anything to share. So I've been wanting to show you guys all of my literacy stuff, and I recently signed up for a Teachers Connect account, which is basically a platform for teachers to go on. It reminds me of like a Facebook page kind of, where teachers can go on there and post a question or anything really, and then other teachers can get on there and comment to them and like give them advice. So at first I was kind of like, oh, that sounds like a good idea, like whatever, and then I posted a question in there about something I was just like having a hard time with in my own classroom, and I got a really good answer back, and I was immediately just like sold. I think it's such a smart idea for teachers to be able to go on there and like get advice from other teachers, because sometimes being at the same school as other people sometimes can just like or make it hard to get like different mindsets on things, because you're all kind of trained by the same people, so that makes it sort of difficult. And especially if you're in the same district and everything like that. So I just feel like sometimes getting an outside perspective on the way maybe their school does it or anything like that is just super helpful. So I like absolutely am sold. I love it. So I'm gonna leave my link down below for you guys to sign up. It's completely free, like you don't have to pay for anything, but you should definitely sign up if you are a teacher just to get advice, because even if you don't post a question on there, which is kind of cool, you can post anonymously as well, but even if you don't post a question on there, like you can just go on there and just get a good ideas for like anything. And it's like all grade levels. Like I've seen kindergarten teachers post, I've seen high school teachers post, so lots of stuff on there. But I came across actually a pretty old, actually I guess it's not that old, it's from December, a post. It's from someone named Summer. And I'm just going to read it to you because it kind of sparked me wanting to kind of share what we do in our literacy centers, my team. So she said, I have 2 students that make literacy centers impossible. What can I do besides just place them on the computer? And basically she just goes through and says that you know, she's got a student who struggles to just kind of stay focused, and then a student who wants to basically do what they want instead. And so she wanted just advice on how to keep them busy, but like for it to be effective. I mean, basically, I mean, isn't that what we're all looking for? So that's something that I've battled with a lot in the past, is having students who either just don't want to do it, or B, have a really hard time being motivated to do it. So what my team has done, which I've shared these in the past, but what my team did a couple years ago was we created what we call like literacy center checklists. So I'm solely talking about literacy centers right now. This is the time when I'm pulling students for guided reading, and my students need to basically stay busy, but I want it to be productive. And so we created literacy center checklists. And so rather than having like the typical sort of like station rotation where they like stay at one station, they get the activity done, and then they go to the next station, I just didn't really like that because I was too much control of mine. Like I had to sit there and have timers going. I had to sit there and like make sure every kid was where they're supposed to be, and I just felt like I wasted a lot of time getting kids rotated. So we created the checklist, and it basically is just all their activities for the day that they need to do, and they just go through and get them done at their own pace. Then when they're done, they have a choice of, you know, some options when they are finished, versus like finishing a center and then being like, okay, what do I do until the timer goes off? I just felt like they could get it done at their own pace, and they weren't sitting there having to like wait. So that's what we created a couple years ago, and these literacy centers have changed probably a million times. I'll just be honest with you, probably a million times. But with the literacy centers, to kind of answer that person's question, I realized that my students who were off task the most were students who just didn't get what they were doing. They were the students who maybe have a hard time reading, and the work that I was giving to them, yes, at their level, at second grade level, was too hard for them. And so because they couldn't do it, they were messing around and doing other things. I noticed the second I started giving them work right at their level to help them with skills that they need to practice on, they were way more engaged, they felt successful, and they were able to do it. So that's one tip I have for you guys, is like find what they can do on their own. Yes, there's a time and a place for second grade curriculum, like obviously a lot of whole group stuff, we do second grade stuff all the time, but there's a time and a place where they need stuff given to them at their level, especially if it's going to be something independent that they can feel successful on, and it's going to practice those skills that have kind of like been left out in the past. So we have 4 groups, and I base them completely off of their reading level. So my A students are going to be students who are above reading level in terms of what we, like our school has as levels, which we go by DRA. So I have A, B, C, and D, and this is what the checklist just looks like. So each day they have an activity that they have to get done, or activities that they have to get done, and we've slowly, as a team, we've tried to kind of get over to a little bit more technology-based activities so that we're not using as much paper. So I'm just going to go through really quickly and just kind of show you guys an example of some of the activities that we do and what those look like, so you guys can get some ideas. It'll take forever for me to like go through and explain every single activity, but I feel like you guys can kind of get like an idea, and then at any point you can always just like pause the video and like get a closer look at a like worksheet or whatever it is we're giving to them. I will say it is like a lot of, I guess, worksheet type things, and that's just simply because I've tried doing a lot more like hands-on stuff, and I can't keep my kids busy and quiet for long enough for me to pull reading groups. So yes, I know I'm not a super huge supporter of like a ton of worksheets, but at this part of our day, it's just something that like has to happen, unfortunately, but that's just what works for me to be the most successful with my guided reading groups. So just like a forewarning there. So let me show you what we do. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll just like quickly kind of just show you the page, and like I said, if at any point you just want to like pause the video and look at the page, feel free. Okay, so here's just a quick glance over the checklist and what they do. So a lot of this stuff is from our Wonders curriculum, which is why some of it like I will show you, but you may not like have access to that. And then on the back side of their checklist is going to be their fluency for the week. So this particular group of students has the fluency just from Wonders that they use, and then the other ones we actually focus them more on a spelling pattern. So this group is going to be focused on the spelling pattern for the week, which is our controlled vowels, and that is their checklist. That's the B group. And then with those groups, anything that has a star is our symbol for that's on the computer, so you need to go to the computer and do it. And then this group does a little bit easier of a fluency passage, and then my last group also has a fluency passage, and it looks more like this. This is just something I bought off of TPT. Then their work, so this is like well, it's kind of in order, kind of not. So this is a story map. So they're going to do a story map based on the weekly story that we read after they've listened to it again. We read it together, they're going to listen to it again online, and then they'll fill that out. They've got a little passage with a spelling pattern that we are currently working on. And then I believe this day they also go online and do a game. And then we've got my C group. This is one of the activities. They're finding ST blend words, and then they're going to use a word from the top in a sentence and a question. And then they also have a passage. It's just slightly easier at the level that they need. They're working on like that magic E. So yeah, that's what they do. And then my D group they're working on more like short vowels. So they're doing short E, short I, and they're finding words, and then same thing. And then they've also got this activity where they're going to read the word and draw what it is. This is my group that needs stuff that they can be successful, probably the most, things that they can feel successful doing. And this is the kind of stuff, it is probably a little easy, I would say, for a couple of them, but they feel very successful doing it, and it's really good practice. So this particular activity is probably a little easy, but I think all the other activities like this, I think is pretty good, right at their level. And then my A group is working on kind of some asking and answering, or well, I guess answering questions based off of our weekly story. And then they're also going to work with some vocabulary words, explaining what that word means. And then on Tuesday, woo! Okay, that's going to the ground. This is my C group. They're going to be working on S blend words, so SL and SW, and same thing on the bottom. They've got some inflectional ending practice, and they've got some, we call them heart words, but they're words you should know by heart, aka sight words. So they're going to be working on some sight words. And then, like I said, I think pretty much every day those groups have something on the computer as well. And then they've got short O words this week, and same thing on the bottom. And then this one, they're going to be finding some words that rhyme and gluing them down, just listen, or reading the word, or no, not reading the word, reading the picture, I guess. And then also working on some high frequency heart words. So that's that. And then this group is going to be working on a summary sequence map. And keep in mind, a lot of this stuff, like I know it looks like a lot, but it's all stuff that's like, I kind of just print like this. I just print one paper and I just throw this on there and it's done. And then this, my partner just changes the title each week, and then that's done as well. So one of my partners is in charge of doing the A and the B group stuff, and I'm in charge of doing the C and the D group stuff, so that it's not as much. So by the end of the week, I probably spend, I would say like maybe 40 minutes prepping all this stuff, but it's, you know, almost an hour of my day every single day that's like already done and ready, and I don't have to do anything for. So it seems like a lot, but at the same time it's really not. So then the B group is also working on that story sequence. They have these extra little pieces to it, and then they'll be turning both of these into a paragraph later in the week, and that's where this right from the map comes in. So I'm just kind of going through this quickly, but just so you guys can kind of see like the activities. And we always just label on the top what day of the week it is and then what letter, because we have our like TAs print them ahead of time for us, and then they get them all stapled and everything, so that's super helpful. And then they're going to be working on some blends, some more heart words, and then that story map that the other group worked on earlier in the week, they're now going to be doing that now that we've worked with that story like pretty much all week. Some more sight words. I really like this activity. They're having to read the word. This is my D group. They have to read the word and they have to decide whether or not it's a nonsense word or a real word. And this is just from a pack I found on TBT. So it's basically I just printed the whole pack, and every week I just kind of grab and go, which is really nice. And then they're also going to be doing that story map as well. And then the last day of the week, I actually don't have the C and D group because they're sitting in my box, I think currently. They actually take the Big Wonders test online. And so we just print the story for them so they can actually like annotate the text as they go and find their answers. And then they also do this vocabulary word connection, so they have to find a word that connects and explain why it connects. And then my B group is going to be doing the last day of the vocabulary, and then they do like a sort of a response, and so it'll relate back to the question, or the essential question and the stories for the week. And then my C and D group on Thursday, they do some online stuff, and then what else do they do? Oh, they do like a sequence map for the beginning, middle, end. And then the online stuff is a lot of word work. So they're doing the word work online. They're doing some passages. Oh, and then every week my A and B group also does ReadWorks. So ReadWorks is a really, really good resource for just like getting them to read and answer questions, and it's all like digital. You can actually print it, but I do it digitally. So they really, really like ReadWorks, and I force them to use sentence frames, sentence stems, whatever you want to call them, while they're doing it, and they have to like write their answers in complete sentences, everything like that. So they do 1 or 2 of those a week. I can't remember which. So that's pretty much it. And then at the end of the week, we just kind of throw everything together. I staple it. I'll go through it and make sure that everything is kind of done to, I always tell them it's not about getting done. It's about kind of working your hardest to get there. I'm not going to be upset if a kid doesn't finish, but they tried their hardest. Whereas if a kid's sitting there not really doing anything the entire time and they don't finish, then a lot, like they'll have to sit out for their Fun Friday to work on it just because they wasted their time. But if they obviously work their hardest, then I would never say anything. And then just inside of their folder, they have some activities. So they have like a little literacy folder. So this person, they've got some extension activities that they can do when they're finished. My A group, I'm actually starting doing research projects when they're done. So they're doing that. And then the other piece I was going to answer to that person's question. So A was finding stuff that they are successful at doing, because it may just be the fact that the work is too difficult for them and they're not wanting to, so they're kind of resenting that. But the other thing was, in my case with the checklist, I noticed I had a student who just couldn't handle like having all the work at one time, and so with them I would give them one piece at a time, and then every time they would finish it they'd bring it back to me and I would give them the next piece, and then I would also give them some type of reward, whether that was a clip up, a dojo point, you know, something like that, a skittle, whatever the case may be. They were able to kind of work at their pace, but they didn't feel so overwhelmed by having it all in front of them, and that's actually worked pretty well for a couple students in past years. It's just kind of like they don't need a checklist. They're more just like, I'm their personal checklist. So that's pretty much it. This is just gonna be my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found something useful out of it. I feel like there was something else I was going to, I guess Thursday I could say they also record themselves reading their passage so that their fluency passage isn't just like a complete waste throughout the week. They practice it 2 times a day every day, and then on Thursday they actually go on Flipgrid and record themselves reading it, and then they can each go and like watch each other's video, which is kind of cool. They really like that. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, it does look like a lot, but like we had to kind of get into the groove of it, and at first it did take a while really figuring out where every kid is and like what they need, but I think it's so beneficial to your students to do that for them and take out that time to do that. So I highly recommend doing that if you can. I know it's hard, but teaching is hard, so I recommend that you do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful, and I will actually, if you guys have any video requests, I'm looking to do kind of more like informational videos like this to give you guys some tips and tricks and ideas. So if you guys have any ideas, make sure to leave them in a comment down below, or email me, message me on Instagram, DM me or something, because I want to be able to produce stuff that you guys do. I do get asked all the time about guided reading, about literacy centers, so this is one area that I knew I wanted to start. I also want to go through kind of my guided reading stuff. I'm not in a place I feel like I want to share that with you yet, so that will be coming. Sorry this video got really long, but I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.